It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago and 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's the Mad Dog and the Pitbull. I am Mad Dog DeCipio, joined by Amelia. God help me. She's back, folks. I can't get rid of her. God help me. Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. No, you showed up again.
Yes.
How can I get rid of you?
Fire
Please
me.
tell me how.
Fire me.
I can't fire you because I never officially hired you. Let me explain, folks, what happened. She came in one day
hmm
and she never left. She came in as a guest on a show. She was.
I did.
Am I lying? Please tell
No,
please tell me if
I
I'm
did. I
lying.
came as a guest.
She came in as a guest. She brought her baggage. She got a cot. She took a pillow and a blanket, and she stayed. I can't get rid of her.
Hmm.
Anyway, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
You got to ask after that. Anyway, no, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, at least we tolerate each other.
Really good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right? At least we tolerate each other, right?
Tolerate. I tolerate you. Let's get real clear about it. I tolerate you.
I think Anita. I'll ask Anita that question.
I can't go nowhere. This is my gig.
I'll ask Anita that.
So we have and I forgot to tell everybody. Folks, this is What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast on WWTF Radio, around the world and live, always live, folks. This is the broadband radio system. We are broadcasting. Oh my God, we're in 31 countries right now. Wow. That's tricky. You think about that.
Amazing.
Hey, I want you just to think about what I just said. We're broadcasting in 31 countries.
That's amazing.
And if you guys think I'm kidding, I got a full list. And I'm not even joking. No. We got people, folks, we got 2 people from Sri Lanka that are listening right now. I'm not even kidding you. I can't make this up.
We have Japan, we have Australia, just to name a couple more.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Turkey, Ireland, Italy, Sri Lanka, Canada, of course, listening us, the U.S., Mexico. But we have a lot overseas. We have a big audience overseas. Somebody asked me about that. Said, why do you have such a big overseas, presence? Simple, very, very simple. The podcast market here in the U.S. is outrageous. The wrestling market alone.
Yes.
Do you know that there are over 300,000?
Wow.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. There are over 300,000 podcasts dedicated to pro wrestling. That's just wrestling.
That's just wrestling. Yeah. Wow.
There are 500,000 podcasts dedicated to news and sport.
Yeah.
Okay? Another 300,000 or 400,000 dedicated to entertainment and the arts.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So you're looking at, a fairly sizable number of people, and everybody. Look, we have a market. So does everybody else.
Yes.
We were just asked to be on. In fact, they just asked Amelia and I to be on a wrestling podcast. We had to turn it down because, we do a show on the night that they asked.
Yes.
Plus, and the honest to God, folks, I won't tell you the truth. I'm not going to bullshit. The honest to God truth is why I turned it down is we're peaceful. We're happy. We don't want to get into any of that drama. Pro wrestling brings nothing but drama.
Yeah.
And I won't have it, and I will not tolerate it. I will not put up with it any longer. And if you don't believe me, ask my lawyers because they'll send you a cease and desist.
Besides, we've got better topics that we want to bring to the public.
Yeah, like why do strippers use a pole?
They
never used to. All of a sudden now they use a pole. I wonder what I gotta ask somebody. I gotta ask. I want to have a stripper come on the show.
Maybe to get more money, maybe to get, I don't know.
Well, no, you know what it is? It's like anything else. Even stripping has evolved
Mhm.
into an art form. They use that pole for like to swing around and
Mhm.
acrobatics. They hang upside down on it. Not what the fuck that's all about, but
There's even
that'll really
class.
turn you on seeing a half naked woman hanging upside down on a pole.
Mhm. Well, there's
That's there.
even classes that teach that, but they don't teach it for strippers. They just teach it for like ordinary women that
Oh,
want
they
to do
teach
that.
it
Yeah,
for whoever wants to pay for it, Amelia.
yeah, hmm,
You know, no, they. And by the
yeah,
way, it's not just for women, folks.
yeah.
They teach men how to pole dance. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Please tell me if I'm lying.
No, I've seen it on America's
I'm
Got
not. I
Talent.
can't make this shit up. I promise you, I can't.
Yeah.
Tonight, what are we doing tonight, Mill?
Is time travel possible? What do you think?
Is time travel possible? Not only do I think it's possible, but I think we are living personification of time travel. I have no doubt. I have no doubt whatsoever that we are in. I think we're in an interesting time regarding time travel because I really believe. You know, we just did a show, Mill.
Yes.
You and I just did a show called Alternate Realities of the Glitch in the Matrix,
Right. Correct.
right? And the Mandela Effect. Okay.
Yes.
We're in an interesting time because those things are real. Okay. Those things are real. Mandela, the Matrix, time travel, it's all real. I want you to think about something. Now, just use your head for a minute.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm asking a lot. Me. Shit. I'm
Anita.
asking a lot, but shut up. Follow me on this. Follow me.
Okay. Mhm.
In the 19, listen to me now, the
Yes.
1940s, okay?
Yes.
This is 2024. Think about that.
Yes.
In the 1940s, all right? Like 84, 85 years ago, we're talking about a guy named H.G. Wells, okay, wrote a book which was produced into a radio play called War of the Worlds. This same guy wrote a book called The Time Machine. Okay. I
Yes.
want you to think about that. In the 40s, he wrote a book called The Time Machine. That book had to come from somewhere. H.G. Wells didn't just one night wake up with this thing and it popped into his head. Oh, I'm going to write a book about a time machine.
Hmm.
First
Right.
of all, nobody knew what the hell a time machine even was.
No.
So, number one, where did he get the idea? Number two, did he have a vision? Did he experience time travel and then write the book about it under the guise of fiction?
Right.
Or did something occur that happened, like I'm going to say outer worldly, but did it something not outer worldly, but did something otherworldly happen?
Well, was he a
What's
Freemason?
your take on that?
Was he a Freemason
Um,
or belonged to one of those organizations? Maybe.
no, well, no, he was, in fact, to be honest with you, H.G. Wells was an alcoholic, and he used opiates, and
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, he was a very bright guy, but he was, and we would call him today troubled. He was a troubled guy back in his day, you know, kind of, kind of like you are. I'm kidding.
I'm trying to mute my dogs. They're barking in the background a little
Oh
loud.
no,
So,
let the dog bark.
well, I was thinking if he was like a Freemason or belonged to one of those kind of organizations. You know how they believed in time travel. They had the time machine, that little portal thing that they had.
Yeah, and I wish I could tell you yes, but
Mhm.
honestly, nothing indicated that H.G. Wells was either a Mason or a member of a secret society.
Right, exactly, because they can't tell you if they're a member of a secret society.
Well, I'm sure by now we would know if he were or
Yeah,
not.
right.
You're talking about 80 plus years later, 80,
Maybe he knew
84 years later.
maybe he knew someone that was in a secret society or a Mason that
Well,
talked.
and is that a possibility? Sure, it
Could
is.
a drinking
Is it
buddy.
something? Can you consider it? Yeah, of course we
Yeah,
can consider it.
yeah, a
But
drinking buddy.
here's the point, though, that I'm trying to make, and I think you're along the same
Mm,
the same the viewpoint, or at least the same mindset. I hope you are. Anyway,
yes.
is that the idea of time travel really is not a new one.
No.
Okay, I want you to think about this. Back in the day, again, even before H.G. Wells, there was a guy named Jules Verne
Hmm.
that wrote the same kind of like fantastic stories, but his took place underwater, like the Nautilus, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Oh God. Oh God, my goodness. What was it? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, right?
Right.
If you think about it, that's a time travel story.
That is a time travel
If
story.
yeah, if and there's no two ways around it. We have to say, look, you can read it the same way you read H.G. Wells. It reads like a time travel,
Right.
right?
Right. Just like there was, rumored that certain people from our government were time travelers, but we can't prove that because we
Well,
don't
we're
know.
going to talk about that tonight because it's interesting you should say that. I'm going to show you. I think it's kind of a very interesting slideshow. You're going to see Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, right?
Yes.
Very, very interesting guy. And you're going to see that we've done this show, well, kind of all along the same lines, but we've done a number of time travel shows. This is like our second or third one.
Yes.
But one of the things that people love that we do is when we show them time travel lookalikes.
Oh yeah.
Celebrity lookalike. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I have another batch for you.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? Why don't we just let me do this first.
Sure.
I just want to make sure of something. Um and I think it's important. Let's take a look at this. Now, the music is ragtime music.
Like
But you
1940s.
get where they're going with it,
Yes.
okay?
Hmm.
Now, let me explain this here because I kind of need to explain a little bit to our radio audience. What we're looking at here is Einstein's theory of relativity, the idea that all things considered, everything in the universe is relative to one another, okay? And so Einstein called this his theory of relativity. But I want you to look at something, Amelia, and I just take a moment and just look at this because it's fascinating. We're looking at the Earth, okay? And the Earth is creating this kind of this little bowl. It's kind of like a bowl, right?
Right.
Well, what it's actually creating, and there's a word we use for it, and we've used this word a lot. You remember what that word is?
What, space continuum or something?
You're along there. Yep.
Hmm.
It's the space-time continuum. There's something else connected to the space-time continuum that's become very popular today. And you're looking at it right there. It's called a wormhole. That's a wormhole. And that connects different dimensions of space with the current time. People say, well, where are those UFOs coming from? Well, first it was, UFOs are not real. They're just, they're man-made, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Well, guess what? If we are being told, the government is telling us now that they're real. Well, if they're real, they're coming here some way. You're looking at how they're getting in. That's a wormhole. Now, follow me, guys. Follow me. Because this is what happens when a wormhole overlaps itself. You see what happens, Melia?
Yes.
Time has flipped in on itself. That's created the Matrix. That's created the Mandela effect. And that's created, look at that. You see where the airplane is going?
Oh, yes. It's going down the hole.
It's going down the hole. Well, it's going to come out somewhere, isn't it?
Correct.
I'm going to tell you a story tonight, a true story about an airplane. In fact, there were 2 movies made about this airplane, a television series, by the way, that's still on the air called Manifest. You're going to hear tonight the true story of Flight 57. Okay, and you probably never heard of Flight 57, but I'm going to tell you about it tonight.
Yep.
But I want you to look at this, Meal. Check this out. Okay. What is that?
It looks like she's looking into a tablet, like a small computer.
It's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That what you're looking at, that sculptor that you're looking at is like 2,000 years old.
Wow.
All right. That's almost 2,000 years old. That's that stone sculpture you're looking at. And by the way, just so you know, it's all made out of one piece of marble.
Wow.
That's marble. Do you know how hard marble is?
Oh, yes.
It's solid. To make it look like that, you got to either be really good or you got some serious, equipment and tools you're using. Because you don't get the marble to look like that.
No,
but
you don't.
What you're looking at is something they found in Egypt. It's a little girl holding this tablet for the queen, because you can clearly see that this woman is a royal person.
Yes.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question then. Where did they get the tablet?
Could have been the aliens that visited them, because I heard that they visited those countries before they even visited the United States.
Okay, well, guess what? That would be time travel, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
It sure the hell would. And here's the thing. You have to understand, guys, we're not making any of this up. We don't manufacture this stuff.
No.
We get it directly from the source, okay? And that's just the way it is. We get it from the source. I want to show people, because we got a lot of video tonight. I want to show people I want to say it's one of my favorite movies, but it actually is my favorite movie, called Somewhere in Time. I want to show you a little trailer. And by the way, I want to thank Fandango for the use of these clips. We got permission, YouTube. We got permission to use the clips. So don't go busting my chops tonight. Right. All right. Take a look at this clip, Melia. It's called Come Back to Me.
Come back to me.
Who was she?
I never saw her in my life.
What did she give you?
Oh my God.
Is this a party or what? Let's have some cake.
love this movie.
Yes, it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Okay, now
Hmm.
what you just saw was Christopher Reeve as a young man accepting his own pocket watch. Okay.
Yes.
But he doesn't know that it's his pocket watch yet. He finds out later in the movie that it's his pocket watch. And the woman who he falls in love with, in the past,
Hmm.
she's now an old woman, but she's still
Yes.
alive, but she's an old woman now. Her name is Elise McKenna. She's an actress, very popular in her day. And I have been told, and I cannot verify this, and I'll just tell you now, I cannot verify it. I can't validate it. I cannot give truthful credibility to it. But I have heard more than once that somewhere in time was based on a real event. Now, if anybody out there listening, Amelia, if you have any
Yes.
idea or you know about it, you heard about it, what about the idea that somewhere in time was based on a real event? Because is it plausible? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
plausible.
of course. If she has something of his, like later on, that she gives to him, and then he later on realizes that was his all along, or something. Because they say that you have an effect of somebody's that you can always hold on to, and they'll remember it eventually.
Well, true, and she held on to it all them years, right?
Yes, yes, you did.
Now, the idea that somewhere in time, I would love to believe. I would love to believe that that's like a real story.
Well, we'll have to do
'Cause-
some research and do a show on that.
Well, you know what? Let's look into that.
Okay.
But the idea of that that it could be a true story is fascinating to me.
Yes, me too. Because I mean, that right there shows you time travel is possible. It answered our question.
Well, you're gonna not only see tonight, but you're gonna hear a couple of very profound stories, true stories, not fictional in any way, true fact-based stories confirmed by the police and confirmed by researchers. Two stories in particular that will make the hair stand up on your arm. But before we get to that, we have to talk about this whole notion of time folding in on itself.
Right.
Okay. The idea of time folding in on itself has been around almost as long as time itself. Okay. But now we're experiencing something in real time that we never have before. Because what we think we know, we don't know. What we think we experienced, we haven't experienced.
Correct.
It's almost like we're living in this alternate universe, but in a strange kind of way, everything makes sense to me. And I think it makes sense to anybody that's got a half a brain. Because if you think about what's happening, it's almost like time is telling us, hey, I'm here.
Yes.
Time's here.
Yeah.
Not time's up. Time's
Yeah.
here.
Time's here. Live it.
Time is never up. Remember that. Time is
Right.
never up, but time evolves. Time never ends, but time does evolve. Okay? And I think we are at a critical evolutionary stage for time. I want to ask Amelia, ladies and gentlemen, to read some research that I
Mhm.
put together. So, Amelia, if you'll get that
Sure.
paper I sent to you.
Do you want to do
And,
that now or go to the commercial first?
no, let's do that now because
Okay.
we're going to be here probably longer than usual.
Okay.
So we'll just extend our commercial. I'm sure our sponsors will understand.
Oh, of course.
So go
Yes.
ahead and read that.
Okay. Like in the movies, time travelers typically step aside inside a time machine and poof, they disappear. They reappear instantaneously among cowboys, knights, or even dinosaurs. What these films show is basically time teleportation. Scientists,
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to
yeah,
talk about that. That
yeah,
was the when we talk about H.G. Wells and the time machine. That's
mhm,
exactly what he was talking about.
right.
Moving through time, time
Yes,
teleportation. Think about it. Look at this. Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah, they had the phones and everything like that before we even knew cell phones existed.
Thank you. They
Hmm.
were using cell phones. You hear what she said?
Yes,
And you're going to see some shit tonight that's pretty creepy talking about cell phones and cameras and stuff. Watch. Go ahead, Neil.
yes. The scientists don't think that this conception is likely in the real world, but they also don't relegate time travel to the crack post realm. In
No,
fact,
the crackpot realm is
crackpot
what
realm.
she's the crack. That would be us, folks. We would be the crackpot realm.
Well, the letters came out kind of funny, but I had. In fact, the laws of physics might allow chronological hopping, but the devil is in on its details.
The devil is
Again,
always in the details, Amelia.
there he is, the devil, always there.
The devil is well. They don't mean literally the devil. It's a figure of speech, Amelia.
But you never know, though. I mean, you never
She's
know.
trying to turn everything into a religious
No, no,
uh,
no. I'm talking about
reformation here.
no,
When the hell did you become very
no,
religious all of a sudden?
no. I'm
But
talking
listen,
about like celebrities, things like that. But we'll get into that part later.
let me ask you
Talking
a
about.
question.
Mhm.
Have you ever time traveled?
Well, I've had deja vu before.
Okay, let's talk about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
I was hoping you say that. I'm gonna tell you why.
Hmm.
It's been said that deja vu is a physical manifestation of mental clarity of having been someplace before. If that's the case, then we have all jumped through time.
Oh yeah.
Because I experienced deja vu like no other person. And I'm not saying that to boost myself.
No, I understand.
Because you have to remember, I'm a psychic also.
Yes.
Okay. So deja vu is like my everyday thing. Okay.
Yes.
Um, but again, being a psychic is also being a time traveler.
Yes,
I
it is.
got to put myself in somebody else's time. Not only
Correct.
not only do I have to put myself inside their head, I got to put myself inside their time,
Pretty much in their shoes to see what they
in
were
their
doing at a certain
shoes.
time.
Whenever their shoes happened, and that's the thing. People don't get that. All right, go ahead, Neil.
Okay. Okay. And let's see. Let's see.
Near
Mm,
massive
okay.
bodies.
Time traveling to the near future is easy. You're doing
Yep.
it right now at a rate of 1 second per second. And
Yeah.
physicists say the rate can change according to Einstein's special theory of relativity. Now, time flow depends
Mention
on
that
how
tonight.
fast you're moving. The quicker you travel, the slower seconds pass. And according to Einstein, general theory of relativity, gravity also affects clocks. That more.
Let me stop you right there. I have a
Mhm.
question for you because you just
Yeah.
said something that kind of opened up the floodgates, and that's why I wanted you to read this tonight and not me.
Mhm.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever experienced a day that felt longer than the day
Yes.
before?
Oh, of course. You
Have
look at
you
the
ever
clock.
found a week or a month that seemed like it was just going on forever?
This year, this year it seemed like it for like the whole month of May. It seemed like okay, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
June and went like
And
that to me.
exactly. Thank you for saying that because I said my
Hmm.
wife and I had this conversation. We had this conversation. When you're a little kid,
Yes,
summertime seems like forever.
it does. You have a great time.
You
You're having
got
fun.
great time.
Hmm.
It seems like the sun is never going to end. And you have like a whole, seems like you got a whole year before school,
Right?
right? Now, here's May. There's September. What the hell happened in the
Yeah.
middle?
In 2 months, we'll have the Burr months, as they say. 2 months.
Yeah.
That quick.
Let me tell everybody that she's not an isolated incident. We, all of us, every human being, myself, Amelia, my wife, everybody, her husband, everybody, every human being experiences this shift in time. Time slows down. It slows down physically on clocks
Yes.
where it's most visible, but it can also speed up on
Yes.
clocks where it's most visible. How many times have you found yourself at work
Mhm.
going like this, looking at the clock up on the wall,
Oh yeah. Or we
waiting
have
for 4 o'clock?
right? Or like, well, like let's say for example, 1 o'clock, and then you'll think, okay,
Because if you're Amelia,
mhm.
you're looking for 4 o'clock at 8:30 in the morning. Because that's
No,
how
it
she is.
depends on the day or what I'm doing, but or what I was doing
Or
back
who your
then.
supervisor is.
Exactly, especially the one that
Yeah.
because it was so weird because it's like 1 o'clock and then you're like, okay, well maybe it's 1:30 now. You look at the clock, it's
Right.
just barely 1:03, and you're like, wait a minute, it should be. I was on this call for 7 minutes. How could it be 1:03?
I know, right?
And I just looked at the clock and it was 1 o'clock. But it says I was on the call for 7 minutes. Where's my 4 minutes go?
And that's I said that.
Hmm.
I literally said that one time. I said, where did I just lost time.
Yeah, you
I
do. You lose
lost
time.
a whole day one time and I didn't even know it.
Yeah,
I said, I had to ask somebody. I said, what's today?
yeah,
Today's Wednesday. Really? I
yeah.
thought it
You're
was I thought it was still Tuesday.
I was going back to where it was Monday or something like that because of that deja vu,
Yeah.
and it happened at a grocery store, and it was funny because at the same time, lightning and thunder, and at the same time, again, lightning and thunder happened the same as my
Well, and
deja vu.
that's something else. That's something else connected with time travel. The weather, severe changes in the weather. I'm going to tell everybody a couple of stories tonight, true stories. But I want to get into the scientific realm of it.
Of course,
Amelia, I want to ask you
mhm,
just to finish up
of course.
the
The
that last paragraph, and then we'll.
the more forceful the gravity nearby, the slower time goes. That was the end of that one.
Okay, so now near massive bodies near the surface of neutron stars, or even at the surface of the Earth, although it's a tiny effect, time runs slower than it does far away, and I'm going to prove that. Says Dr. David Goldberg, a cosmologist at Drexel University in Philadelphia. If a person were to hang out near the edge of a black hole, we just showed you what a black hole is, right?
Yes.
If a person were able to hang out at the edge of a black hole where gravity is prodigious, Goldberg says, only a few hours might pass for them while 1,000 years would go by for someone else. I want you to do not lose what I just said, Neil, because we're going to
No, of
talk about
course.
this.
Mhm.
1,000 years can go by in just a matter of hours if you were able to hang out at the black hole. If a person, listen to me, if a person who was near the black hole returned to this planet, they would have effectively traveled to the future.
Mhm.
To the future. That's a real effect, he says. This is a doctor, a
Yeah.
scientist telling you this is real. Okay? And you can find, and that is completely, he says, that is completely uncontroversial. In other words, it can't be argued. It's the truth, he says. And I wanted this to make that point because Dr. David Goldberg, by the way, you can look him up at Drexel University. He is an acting current staff professor at Drexel University in Philadelphia. You can say you heard his name on What's the Buzz Popcast. Somebody is joining us in the chat room tonight. Who is with us tonight? It's Leon. Hello there, Leon.
Hey, Leon.
Leon lives in the future, by the way, folks. And he relishes the past but lives in the future. I love Leon. Leon's a great guy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, folks, and it's important. I want you all to remember this. One of the most important things that we have to discuss is if there's a way to get to, there has to be a way to get from. Okay? Remember, time travel is a two-way street. You got to go, you got to get back.
Right.
What happens if you, as Bugs Bunny would say, get lost on the way to Albuquerque? You know?
Right.
What happens if the space-time continuum closes up on you? Can it?
I think it can.
It absolutely can. I'm going to prove it to you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a commercial break first because I got a story that's going to blow your mind, okay?
Ooh.
So let's watch this and just, there you go, watch. Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. What's the Buzz? America's Best Podcast is on the record tonight. Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. There she is. I am Mad Dog DeCipio, and this is WWTF Radio 88.7 on the broadband radio system around the world. And when last we left off, I was about to tell you it's story time.
Yay.
I'm going to make a big banner for this next time. I'm going to Angelo's story time. Okay. Let me tell you about first of all, there's a show called Manifest.
Yes.
On television. It's about an airplane that traveled through the time warp, the space-time continuum that we talked about. That television show is not just a television show. It was, ladies and gentlemen, and is, ladies and gentlemen, based on a real documented actual event that this government, along with 5 other governments, investigated. Let me tell you what happened. In 1954, United Flight 54, in fact, 1954, Flight 54, took off from Miami, Florida, not far from where Amelia is, okay? The plane took off. Hold on. I can't even believe that somebody tried calling my phone. And they know it's Showtime. Wow.
Right.
That never happened on Showtime. The plane took off for about an hour flight to Dallas, Texas.
Right.
Okay. About an hour flight from Miami to Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a flight. You go fly over the Gulf of Mexico and you're in Texas. Okay. It's right there. Okay. So guess what happens? That flight never arrives.
Yeah.
They never arrive, Neil. Air traffic control, they're looking. They lose the flight on radar. Authorities are calling in. They're searching the ocean. Did the flight go down? Did the transponder, ping back that they're at the bottom of the ocean? What happened to Flight 54 from Miami? Never showed up.
Never showed up.
Well, guess what, Neil? It actually did show up.
5 years later, right?
Nope.
Oh.
37 years
37 years later. Okay.
later.
Okay.
37 years later.
Wow.
When did they show up? 1988, ladies and gentlemen. And we're talking about recent memory here, recent time.
That's like a big.
Flight 54 showed up in Buenos Aires, Brazil. A plane landed at Buenos Aires International Airport. Go look it up, guys. Go look it up. It's real. Every government agency from the U.S., Mexico, Spain, Italy, actually Madrid, Spain, Italy, Germany, they all had a vested interest because they all had passengers aboard this
Oh,
plane.
yes, absolutely.
All right. The pilot looked like he did the day he took off. Everyone in the plane was wearing the same clothes that they were wearing when the plane took off. They were all in great shape. They were all well fed. They had plenty to eat, plenty to drink. What they said, they only took off a couple hours ago.
Right? We were just been in the air for a couple of hours. How could it be 30-something years later? Yeah.
Just a couple of hours. Now, wait a minute. I just read to you. Hold on a minute. I just read to you something that's going to prove my point.
Yeah.
From Dr. David Goldberg. So listen to this one. Check this out. Dr. David Goldberg says, if you were able to hang out at the edge of a black hole where gravity is prodigious, only a few hours might pass.
Yes.
While 1,000 years would go by for someone else. Well, here's what happened, folks. For the people on Flight 94, United Flight 94, out of Miami, Florida, only a few hours passed for them. While the rest of us, it was 37 years later, 1988. It was 1988, okay? More than 30 plus years later.
Wow.
They looked the same. They acted the same. They had the same clothes on, which was a shock to the people when they got off the plane because they had never seen clothes like this. Some of them never even knew that these kind of clothes existed.
Exactly, because back in the 80s, well, you know what the dress style was back then.
There was a guy wearing a suit, a brand new suit from 1954.
Right.
Brand new. He gets off the plane and it's 37 years old or 30 plus years old, the suit. But to him, it's brand new.
Brand new.
He's just still wearing it. It's kind of screws with your I'm sorry, folks, I'm going to use the word. It fucks with your head.
It does. It does, especially think about when you're on that plane, you have your wife and kids or something like that at home, and your baby's 1 year old.
What? Okay, tell them what happened in Manifest.
And then you come back in time, and then the daughter, instead of being 10 years old, she's 15 years old. Like,
yeah.
And he's like, wait a minute, where's my little girl?
Your 5-year-old girl is now 15.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be twins, but the little boy is still 10 in the movie, in the show. He's still 10 years old.
Twins in the show. You're exactly right. I love that. Andrew's here.
Yeah, I watched at least the first 6 episodes.
Is that AJ? Hey, AJ, how you doing, kid?
So I thought to
myself,
myself,
what if time travel is an event that could be determined as part of an end? Well, you know what, AJ? That's a great question because at the beginning of the show, if you were here at the beginning, if you listened, we were talking about that. Time has folded in on itself. In fact, I'm going to show you how time has folded in on itself. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, check this out, AJ. Watch it. I got it. That music is crazy. AJ, look at this, AJ. This is us. This is Earth. Okay. So Earth now, it's fallen into this wormhole, this vortex. I believe that's what has happened with the Mandela effect and what they call the glitch in the matrix. Then here's what happens now. We get further into it. Now we're working our way down the wormhole. There's an opening and there's there's an entrance and there's an exit. Okay. Look at the top, look at the bottom. There's an opening here and an opening on the bottom. But now, between the opening at the top and the opening at the bottom, it may be light years to travel through that. But then again, it might be 5 minutes. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. But here's where it gets interesting. When we get into this area down here, it becomes a whole different thing. Now, the wormhole has folded in on itself. Now, look at that airplane. We just talked about that, AJ. Just talked about that. Watch. That plane is going into that vortex, that wormhole. It's traveling through time, but look where it's going. It's not taking the normal route like you would. What's happening? It's going straight through. It's going straight through. You understand? Amelia.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, it's what we call, we can call it Mandela Matrix. We can call it a glitch in the Matrix. It's time travel, Andrew. That's how it works. By the way, nice to see you here.
You never know where you're going to end up, once you go through there. It could be, like you said, 30 years later, could be 100 years later. We don't know. Depends on which direction it goes.
Yep. AJ, take a look at this one. Watch this. There's a little girl there holding what looks like a computer tablet, right? And the queen, the royalty there, I guess you say her mother, whatever you want to call it, queen mother. She's opening up. Clearly, she's opening up this stuff. Do you know, AJ, that's 2,000 years old, that sculptor, and it's made out of solid marble, one piece of marble? That's remarkable.
It's beautifully made, I tell you, whoever did that. Very talented.
Hell of a job. Hell of a job.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mil.
Yes.
Let's talk about the other story. I wanted to tell another story tonight, but before I do that, let me see here. I wanted to see if Leon was. Oh, here's Leon. I know Leon had the Twilight Zone episode. Explain that one, Leon. I wanted to ask you that, Leon. What is that Twilight Zone episode 2? You gotta fill me in because I'm not. Apparently, I'm not up to speed on my Twilight Zone.
I know they kind of like redid it, but it's like weird now. But it doesn't explain anything. But
I'm not sure what he means by that. So
but the show Manifest, it was just I'm starting to watch a lot of the shows, and they have developed these like not psychic abilities, maybe you want to say, or something to that effect that they
clearly affected their ability to know. It's some kind of psychic ability. Some people had clear psychic abilities, and not everybody did. Somebody had other gifts, like the ability to heal, the ability to diagnose problems, any number of gifts.
Yes.
But I tell you what, though, it's a fascinating subject. And I talked about last night. I told everybody there was a teaser. I wanted to tell everybody it was about this story that happened. But before I do that, there's a couple of stories that are going to blow your mind. The story about Flight 54 that happened was fascinating because not only did the governments all agree that it actually happened, but they didn't hide it.
They did not hide it at all.
And I give them credit for that, and I give them kudos for that. On the other hand, there was a story that was hidden for a long time. And it took a reporter to open up the story. Now, let me tell everybody what we're talking about here. Back in, oh God, I'm wanting to say it was 19, where was it? They're going to tell me right here. Back in the late 1940s, early 1950s, in Times Square, New York, a real incident took place. And there were many witnesses and many people documented this. Okay. The New York Police Department sat on this for a long time. Now, you have to remember something. We're talking about a time, ladies and gentlemen, when social media did not exist.
Right.
There was no Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MySpace. God forbid. There was none of that. They didn't have it. There were no podcasts, right?
Nothing.
None of
whatsoever.
that existed. Okay. But what did exist were newspapers. But you got to remember something about the times. We had just come out of World War II. All right. And nobody, and I mean nobody, wanted to rock the boat. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody wanted to rock the boat. So everybody was kind of on their best behavior until the middle of June 1951, about 11:15 at night, when everything kind of changed from that point. All right, so let me tell everybody about this. Is the story of a gentleman named Rudolph Fentz. Why is it important that I say this? Because Rudolph Fentz was a German. He was a German immigrant. Why was that important? Because we had just got out of a war
with
in the 1940s with the Germans, with Hitler. All right. So let me tell you what happens. Around about 1874, 1875, a guy named Rudolph Fentz emigrates from Europe, Eastern European bloc, Germany, Berlin. He comes to America. He takes a ship, a cargo ship, with his family to America. Okay. And he gets here and he finds America is a welcoming place. This is his, it's like the promised land for him.
Right. Opportunity, land of the free.
Exactly. The land of opportunity, land of the free, all that. He wants to be here. All right. So here's what happens. He comes here, he sets up a business, and he buys him a little house. He buys, imagine buying a house for $50.
Wow, I cannot believe
Can you
that.
imagine that?
No.
$50 was a lot of money too for a house.
Absolutely, back then, yeah.
But Mr. Fentz took everything he owned, came to America. His wife, his little kids, and the clothes on his back, came to America. So now he's got a little business. He's a tailor. He works with garments.
Yes.
He makes suits. He makes clothing for people, right?
Yes.
He goes out one night, Amelia. He goes out, says to his wife, sweetheart, I'll be back. I want to take a walk.
Okay.
In my worst German accent, right?
Yeah.
So he goes out. He goes out for a walk. He never comes home.
What?
Never comes home.
Wow.
He disappears. Mr. Rudolph Fentz disappears without a trace into thin air. Fast forward, ladies and gentlemen, to June 12th, 1951, in Times Square, New York. Here's how they wrote it in the New York Times. One evening in mid-June 1951, about 11:15 p.m., Passers-by at New York's Times Square station noticed a man about 29 years old, dressed in the fashion of the late 19th century. No one observed how he arrived there, as he was disoriented and confused, standing in the middle of an intersection. He was hit by a taxi cab
Oh boy.
and he suffered fatal injuries. He died. Before people were able to intervene, he passed away. They tried to help, it was too late. The officials at the morgue, listen to this one. It's going to make the hair stand up on your arms. Watch this, Neil. The officials at the morgue searched his body and they found the following items in his pocket: a copper token for a beer worth 5 cents, bearing the name of a saloon, which was known even to older residents of the area, because the saloon opened in 1860 and was still open by 1967.
Wow.
That's the first one. The second one, a bill in his pocket for the care of a horse.
What?
Listen to this. Wait a minute. A bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage. Remember, it's
Wow,
where he's coming from. It's 1874. There's still no cars,
Right.
horse and buggy. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Listen to me. Hold on. Gets good. A bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage, drawn by a livery stable on Lexington Avenue in New York, that was not listed in any address book. The livery stable had closed by then because
Wow.
there were no needs for horse and buggies.
Right.
And here's the most important thing. He had about $70 in his pocket in old federal bank notes. Now,
Wow. Federal.
listen to what I'm saying. Federal bank notes, $70 back then in 1951, $70 in your pocket was like having about 500 or 600 today.
Wow.
The other thing that he had were business cards with the name Rudolph Fence and the address on Fifth Avenue where his shop was. A letter sent to this address in June 1876 from Philadelphia. That was in his pocket too. A letter sent to his address
Wow.
on Fifth Avenue from Philadelphia, and a medal for coming in third. You're going to love this one, guys. You're going to love this one. A medal for coming in third in a 3-legged burlap sack race.
Wow.
I can't make this up.
Wow.
I promise you.
So they must
There
have
it
just
is.
had like a country fair or something like that
It's
that they had
exactly
just gone
what
to.
it was at the New York State Fair
Mhm.
in 1874.
Wow.
He was so proud of his medal, he kept it in his pocket at all
Yeah.
times. It was his good luck charm. Except it brought him no good luck the night he died. Here's the thing. Listen to this. None of the objects in his pocket showed any signs of aging. Captain Herbert V. Rhyme of the Missing Persons Department of the New York City Police Department tried using the information to identify the guy. And you got to give the captain Captain Hubert Rhyme, credit for doing this. He found that the address on Fifth Avenue was part of a business. Its current owner did not know Rudolph Fentz. Fentz's name was not listed in the address book. His fingers were not recorded.
Right.
His fingerprints were not recorded
Hmm.
anywhere. And no one had reported him missing in 1951, we're
Right.
talking about. Now, remember, he doesn't come from 1951. We've already proven 1876, 75, 76, right?
Right.
Here's what happens. Captain Rhyme continued the investigation and finally found, and this, you got to give it credit to this police officer. He did not stop. He finally found Rudolph Fentz Jr.
Wow.
Jr. Okay, in the New York City phone book in 1939, it was listed.
Hmm.
Captain Rhyme spoke to the residents of the apartment building and the listed address who remembered Fentz and described him as a man about 60 years old, not 29.
Right.
Why? Because as Amelia explained to you earlier with the manifest episode, Mr. Fentz Sr. went out for a walk and vanished, but Mr. Fentz Jr., who was a little boy at the time, grown now is a grown old man at 60. Okay? So here it gets good. After his retirement, he moved to an unknown location in 1940. Contacting the bank, Rhyme was also told that Fentz died 5 years before, but his widow was still alive,
Wow.
but living in Florida, Westlake Chapel, Florida. Not
Of all places.
of all places, right? Florida. Captain Rhyme contacted her and learned. Listen to this. You ready for this one? Captain Rhyme contacted Mrs. Fentz and learned that her husband's father, Rudolph Fentz Sr., disappeared in 1876 at the age of 29. That
Wow.
he left the house for an evening walk and never returned. All efforts to locate him were in vain, and no trace remained. Captain Rhyme checked the missing persons file on Rudolph Fentz in 1876. The description of his appearance, age, and clothing corresponded precisely to the letter
Oh,
with
wow.
the man who was killed in Times Square. The case was still marked unsolved today in
Wow.
2024. Fearing he would be held mentally incompetent, Captain Rhyme never noted the results of the investigation in his official file. That's why I said to you earlier, he covered it up until a reporter doing his job uncovered the fact that Captain Rhyme, to his credit, was a hero.
Yes.
Okay? He was a hero because he actually put the pieces together and gave the Fentz family closure.
The sad thing is though the wife thought that he left them for good and left her with a son to raise. That's the
Yeah.
sad part.
I want to show you something, Amelia. Tell me what's going on here.
Sure. That's a boxing match with Tyson up there. Hey, wait a minute. Stop right there. Stop right there. A little bit back. Can you go back a little bit?
I got you.
Right there. Somebody's holding a cell phone.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Because I saw a flash too during the time of the, when you were playing it. There was a flash. Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right, watch. Let's continue.
Can become your greatest weakness. So
Are you sure it's a cell phone? Looks
Yes.
like one, right?
Yeah, look at mine. Looks just
here
like
we
this.
go. And McNeely, as advertised, comes right at.
Look at. There it is, right there. There's the flash going on. Yeah, because it looks just like mine. See
It does.
the back of it.
Take another look.
Look at that.
Now, that's what you're actually looking at.
Wow.
Okay, let me tell you what you're looking at. This is 1995.
Right.
You're looking at the world's first handheld video camera / picture camera.
Wow.
I want you to see, you see that Japanese man behind
Yes.
Mike Tyson.
Yes.
That man's name is Norio Hoga. Okay?
Yes.
The mystery has been solved. Let me read this to you. In 1995, an alleged cell phone was captured at a Mike Tyson fight. Now, here's the real story of this famous photo. The Sony company was trying out their brand new handheld video recorder at the Mike Tyson fight. Tyson himself knew about it. Mike Tyson knew about it. The person filming was none other than the new chairman of the Sony Corporation. He invented that camera.
Wow.
He is the president of Sony in 1995. His name was Norio Hoga. And that is the real, true story of what happened. And you can see it is identical.
Yes.
It's identical even down to the Japanese writing on the camera itself. And there you go. And you can read that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on video or TV. You can freeze this at any time and watch it and play it back and look at it again. And there you go. Now,
Yeah.
I got something else I want to show you.
Wow. It just looks
Something
so weird.
fascinating. You know how we all love Elvis around here, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
All right, take a look at this. This is a purported time traveler showing up at an Elvis concert in 1977. I want you to keep your eyes on a very unusual looking item.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I see it now. What you're talking about. The redhead with the right there.
Okay. You're going to see it again. Watch. Elvis is throwing scarves to these women. You know,
Yes.
he would throw scarves to the ladies in the audience. Keep an eye on the woman with the red hair. She's holding something in her hand, and I'm going to stop it in just a minute. I'll tell you right there. Here it comes right now.
Right. Yeah, right
Okay.
there. Hmm.
Now, what is that?
It looks to me like a cell phone.
It does. It looks like the cell phone. Again, I thought it was too.
Yeah.
And I thought that woman was a time traveler, but then I realized there was something very odd.
Hmm.
She was wearing the same kind of clothing as the women around her, which is the type of appropriate dress from 1977 that you would wear to an Elvis concert.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's watch because it gets better. You're going to see what it actually is. That is Elvis. Okay, the guy slowed this down several times.
Hmm.
Take a good look. You're going to see something right there, Amelia.
Hmm.
Do you see something popped up there on
Looks
that?
like a pen, maybe a ballpoint pen.
No, I thought so too. I thought maybe it was a stylist, to be honest with you.
Right. Hmm.
But now watch what happens with it. Just keep your eye on that little thing there.
Sure.
Now it goes down. I found out what that was. It was a strap, a handle.
Oh, wow.
It was a handle. Because what you're actually looking at are those.
Oh,
You're
wow.
looking at the very first what they used to call was
A
those
flash
were
camera,
them little,
disposable.
yeah, and you see this is actually the one she's holding is right there in the upper left hand corner.
Oh, wow.
And they had little flash bulbs on it. You used to put in a little cartridge of film.
Yes.
Remember them?
Oh, absolutely. My parents had one like that.
Exactly. You make me feel old, Meal. Oh my God.
Should I say my
Folks,
grandparents
you
had
have
one
to
like that?
understand something. Amelia's parents and myself are the same age, which is a scary thought. Oh, please. I come here to feel good about myself, and then after I leave, I have to have a drink. And
Of coffee?
yeah, a drink of coffee, yes. But anyway, so what it is, it's a Polaroid. I'm sorry, not Polaroid, folks. It's a Kodak cartridge camera. You had 21 pictures on this cartridge.
Yeah.
You pop it in. When it's done, you pull it out. The little black square on top, you use that to put a little like a flash cube.
Yeah, flash bulb. so
Believe
that
it or
was
not,
needed.
they still make them things. It's a scary thought,
I
but they
think
still
they're
make them.
coming back, actually. The Polaroid
They
cameras
are
are coming
coming back.
back.
They use them.
Yes.
That's what. Here you go. People, believe it or not, people held them that way when they weren't using them, even though they had cases too. You know.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you want to take that quick picture, really quick
I
of
want
some.
now. This is what I want you to people understand. These cameras were used from the 70s up to the 80s, and then they disappeared for a while. But as Amelia just said, which is absolutely correct, they're coming back. And ladies and gentlemen, you can't make this up.
Mhm.
They still make them flash cubes.
Yes, they do.
They come in packs of 4, just like they did back in the 70s and 80s. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a camera that look how thin it is. It looks like a
It,
cell phone,
it
like what
does.
we would
It's
say
very, very
today,
thin. Yeah,
right?
absolutely very thin. It's
People they don't get it. I want to play this. Again, I love this movie, so let's watch.
Mhm.
Oh no, we played this one. We played "Come Back to Me," right?
Yes.
All right, never mind. Forget that. Let's watch. Here you go.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Let me set this clip up. Again, thank you to Fandango for the use of the clip. You're looking at a clip from somewhere in time, and this is where Richard Collier talks about his professor, Dr. Finnerty, Professor Finnerty, okay? Because the woman who you're looking at took care of Elise McKenna while she was alive. And Richard Collier finds something very interesting on her bookshelf. Let's watch.
Hey, may I?
Of course.
This is incredible. This guy, Vinny, he was my philosophy teacher at Millfield.
Really?
Yeah.
She read that book over and over.
Dr. Finney.
You'll have to walk with me, young man. I have another class. What's your name?
Collier, sir. Richard Collier.
Student?
Yes, I was 9 years ago.
Well, I try to make my classes interesting, but 9 years. What can I do for you?
I have a question for you, sir.
Shoot.
Is time travel possible?
I was in Venice, 1971. Staying in a very old hotel. I mean, very old. Structure, furnishings, everything. The atmosphere was aged in front of me. In my room, I felt as though it was a century or more earlier than 1971. Understand?
Sir. So, in other words, then the location is very important.
Not all important, but essential. And I conceived a notion.
The attic with the guy.
I attempt to hypnotize my mind. Suggest to it that it isn't 1971, but 1571. I closed my eyes and fed a suggestion into my brain. It's August 1571. I am in the Hotel del Vecchio. I spelled out the details for myself and did it over and over and again and again and again.
And?
Well, I'll never really know, Richard. I've never done it since.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. Great movie. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Check this out. We love doing celebrity shit on here, right?
Yes.
This is one. I saw this. I had to laugh. I mean, I felt bad, but then I had to laugh. Watch. Your first picture you're going to see.
Oh my God.
Look at Michael Jackson's nose and look at that stone statue.
It's like identical. Did he want his nose to
They
look
really
like
do.
that?
They really do. It's so. I was like, "Are you shitting me?" Funny.
Wow. That one is.
There's a lot of them in here tonight, Mill.
Oh wow!
A
It just the
lot of
one with
newer ones that we never saw before.
yeah, that was just
Let's I want to cut the music for a little because I want to talk to people.
sure.
Justin Timberlake. It's hard to imagine Justin Timberlake as a miner from Liverpool
Right?
named Charles, but there you go.
Yeah.
This person says my grandmother looked like Arya Stark in 1936. Yeah, they sure hell did.
Yeah. That look, especially that look with the eyes.
Yeah, right. Where's another one? Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Caligula.
Oh, that was an evil
That
person.
yeah. Oh, he
Caligula.
was a
Oh.
that's twisted fuck too. Yeah, sure
Mhm.
was.
That one right
Peter
there.
Dinklage. I think we did that one before.
Yeah, that one's
Where he
still to
looked
this
like
day.
Diego Velasquez.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage. Yeah, sure the hell did. I'll tell you what though, he's a hell of an actor. He really is a hell of an actor. Good actor. And I don't know who this person is, Amelia. You know who Dave Franco
Dave
is?
Franco
I don't know who
could
Dave
have
Franco is.
been somebody that Madonna knew or something like that. Maybe I don't remember, but I don't see him being very famous. But that
Right?
one, Michael Jackson, is just
Here
especially
you
that
go.
one. Evil
Mark
evil person.
Zuckerberg looks like the king of Spain.
Mhm. I'm
God help
surprised you
us,
said
man.
his name right this time.
Eminem. Here you go.
Oh, wow. Well, that looks like
Yep.
him then, but doesn't look like him now. I tell
I
you that.
know.
Right?
I don't think it's him.
Uh-uh.
I don't think that's Eminem. I think Eminem's been replaced, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have to do a show on that.
And that one's a new one. I've not seen that one. That's a new one.
Yeah, Zion Malik.
Hmm.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston back in the day. And then the next one, let me see. Did I do that one already? Oh yeah, we did that. Okay.
Mhm.
Let me get rid of that. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here it is. This is part 2.
Yes.
This one always gets me, Amelia.
Oh, yeah.
This always gets me. This Jimmy Fallon, and the guy's name. We found out the guy's name. His name is Mahir Koyan. He's a Turkish revolutionary. But the strange thing is, there's a picture of a Mexican outlaw named Villa Zapata,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
That looks just like Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, so he could have been two different people at two different times, too.
Exactly. There was a film called Viva Zapata, and the guy looked just like Jimmy Fallon. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, here we go. The next one is going to be, where was that? I think it was Eddie Murphy or
Yes.
oh no,
That
no,
one.
no, not
No,
it was,
Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield. Yes.
Andrew Garfield. This guy looks just like him.
Yes,
Same
he does.
hair too. That's the
Absolutely.
thing. The hair, the nose, and the lips are identical. Well, actually, the whole face is identical.
Oh.
Let's see here. Oh, check this out.
Yeah, look at that
Now
stance.
look at that guy. He looks like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
That picture is a real picture taken in the 1930s, the early 30s, when the Depression was still going on.
Right. And no person would ever sit like that for a picture from I know back in those days.
Especially black people. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was like,
He looks too relaxed, too comfortable.
Yeah. Well, unless it was, somewhere that he was comfortable, like his neighborhood.
Right.
Because back in the day, you had to kind of stay in your own hood.
Yeah, you couldn't go and cross paths or anything.
Yeah, no, not not today. Everything's it's all different now.
This
anyway.
one right here is the one that with the one she has the darker hair. They look so much alike.
Identical. Yeah, sure do. Yep. This one always gets me too. Queen Latifah. This is actually a writer named Zora Neale. Her and Queen Latifah look like the mother and daughter.
They do. And I heard that Queen Latifah likes those kind of hats. She likes to wear those kind of
Very
hats.
much so. Yep,
Yes.
she sure does. She sure does. Let's see here. I think this is going to be the last picture on that one, I believe. Yeah. So that's the last one on that. Okay,
Wow. This
now
is uncanny.
let me show you some stuff here, folks. This is from the WTF file. This is from the what the fudge file. Watch this stuff. Now, there's a picture here. This was taken in 1942. There's one person in that whole picture that stands out.
Yes.
What's he doing, Amelia?
Looks like he's talking to someone on a cell phone.
He does.
Mhm.
He absolutely does. You're going to see more of that too.
But then he's
You're gonna
also
see
staring
more.
like he got caught. Like, oh, somebody caught me on.
There's something else about that picture.
His outfit.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
The hat's very different from everybody else.
The hat is
And the
wearing,
coat.
he's
Mhm.
wearing what's called a newsboy hat.
Mhm.
Everyone else is wearing a fedora except the military guys that are wearing
Yeah, the military.
government issued,
Mhm.
head covers. Check this out. It's remarkable. I love doing these kind of shows.
Me too. Because
Fascinating stuff. Now, this is a woman on a cell phone. I can't explain this. I watched this 3 or 4 times because you're going to see something that I didn't notice before. Watch right there. Right
Mhm.
there.
Yes.
She's looking at the camera. The camera knows that she's there. I'm wondering if they know they know each other. The camera and this woman know each other. Because when she walks by, you can see what she does.
Yeah.
It's a flip phone she's
That's what I
got.
was gonna say. She flipped something like that. Yeah.
Because she's got this phone and then she closes it. Watch it again. Watch it again. Watch this. See? Watch.
Mhm.
And she closed it.
And she closes it.
flipped
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah.
Now, this one we have an explanation for it. Watch carefully. Okay. Now, this is from a 1927 Charlie Chaplin silent movie. Okay. What do you think this woman is holding at her head?
It looks
It
like
looks
another
like
flip phone.
it looks like a phone. Yes.
Yes. Hmm.
I found out what this actually is, and it's going to blow your mind. What do you think it might be other than a phone?
Something to maybe a hearing device, maybe to help her
It's
hear.
exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, Amelia. It's a hearing aid.
Hmm.
It's shaped like a cone.
Wow.
I'm going to show you again. Watch from the beginning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Watch here from the beginning. Watch this careful. Because you're going to see it looks like a cone.
Yeah, it just showed the point of it right there. But
Yeah,
before it passed that zebra.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's the point.
Mm-hmm. And then that little round, I guess.
That's exactly what it is. And it is a woman. It's an older woman. Whoop. Sorry, folks. Here we go. All right, now you've seen this picture before.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
I have. Yes.
There's 2 things here that one thing I never noticed before. We all know this picture. Okay. This was taken during a presidential visit in Canada. All right. Now, watch the guy right there where the red arrow is, the guy with the sunglasses. He's dressed differently than everyone else.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you look, there's also someone else there dressed very, very differently than everyone else. You see where the arrow is? That red
Yes.
arrow?
Yes.
The guy right underneath that arrow with the light hair.
Oh, uh-huh.
You're going to see about him here in just a second. Okay, watch. He's clearly out of place, dressed very differently, and his clothing looks very, very modern. And you're going to see here in just a second. All right. Let me see. Check this out. This is Sao Paulo, Brazil. All right. You see that camera?
Right.
All right. I want you to see it. You see that on the right-hand side?
Yeah, it's like a big camera. The
Big
gentleman.
camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep your eye on that big camera. And then keep your eyes focused on the dead center in the middle of the screen.
Okay.
Because you're going to see something very interesting right there.
Whoa.
Okay? I want you to see what the guy... Look at what I'm doing.
That looks
You
like
see-
yeah.
You see what I'm doing? That's what the guy's doing. He's holding it up to take a picture.
Right.
And here's the funny part. Look at the screen. You can see the screen.
Yes.
And the guy holding up the trophy is on the screen.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. That's a cell phone with a camera.
That looks like one of those razor phones that they had, very popular at one time.
The what kind of phone?
A razor flip phone, those real thin ones. That you
Oh,
flip.
yeah. Well, you were talking about 1962, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's looking right at that camera too. You can even see it. The guy
Look at
holding the trophy.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah.
And the guy's got his finger on a button.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me tell you about these two ladies here. These two women, they call them the time-traveling professors. In the interest of full disclosure, both of these women were professors at the same college. They were also lesbians. They were gay. Okay? They were each other's partner. All right. They claim to have time traveled to this place, the Palace of Versailles in France. They also claim while there to have met up with the Queen. Okay? Queen Isabella. All right? I have a problem with this, and I'll explain when you see it all. Okay. Here's the problem I have with that. Both of these women were opiate users. They were known opiate users. It's also well known that opiates have hallucinogenic properties.
Oh, absolutely. They do.
So when I heard that, as good as the story sounded, it gave me doubt. Like, do I really believe that? I don't know if I really believe that. I will entertain it for a while, but then I have to get back to reality and say, yeah, I'm not real sure. What do you think, Amelia?
I think you're right because, like you said, that drug does have hallucinogenic stuff in it to where you think you see things or you think you travel to a certain time, and if for them to have had something, they should have had some kind of proof, at least something saying, "Oh, I went to there and this is what happened." But they
Well,
didn't.
I think we can answer that question with this particular story. Watch this. Very interesting, and nobody's been able to explain it yet. All right, you see that?
Yes.
That's clearly that's a watch.
Right.
Okay. There's a problem, though. That watch is the size of a wedding ring.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a very small watch.
There's also another problem with that watch. There's a couple problems. It was found inside of a mummy's sarcophagus in Egypt.
Wow.
That's what all that dirt is. It's all sand. Look at the guy's hands.
Yeah.
They're dirty. But you can see on that watch the minute hand, the hour hand, and you can also see the second hand. You can see all three hands on that, but there's a problem, though. That watch, there's no reason for a watch the size of a wedding ring to be inside the sarcophagus of a 3,000-year-old mummy.
Exactly. It's like, how did it get there?
I don't know. Unless you got an explanation, I would love to hear it.
They did show, how they did the carvings of aliens coming to visit the people in Egypt and things like that. And
yeah.
From what we understand, aliens did have small little wrists. From the
Not like that.
Could be.
Now, I want you to take a look at this interesting character here. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I have all kinds of problems with his story. They claim that he is from the year 2636. Okay. They also claim that this video was shot back in the 1980s. But I want you to watch very, very carefully. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to ask you one question. So watch this. Okay. What have you noticed?
Well, he's real skinny looking. He almost looks like an alien.
All right. Well, I thought that too. Mm-hmm. But what particular what else have you noticed?
He looks like he has a mask on too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Here's what I noticed. I'm going to play this back. Mm-hmm. Watch this. He's moving look at his forehead.
Yes.
Okay. That does not look like a natural formation.
No, it does not.
Okay. It does not look natural. It looks like a mask that we were just talking about.
Because you could clearly see it is a mask. I mean, that does not look like a person.
No. Here's the problem I have with it. Two problems. Number one, it looks completely contrived. Number two, he's moving his head like this, trying to make the mouth move. Watch.
Exactly.
Watch it.
Yeah, I see it right there. It just barely.
The lips are barely moving. Now he's going to reach into his pocket, supposedly, and pick out some time travel pictures. But look at him. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
What am I looking at?
It looks like they had probably gotten somebody else to play the part. They had probably formed a mask toward him, and something happened to him at the last minute, so they got him. We never know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, back to that famous picture again of the guy with the sunglasses. Okay. What are you noticing about this guy?
Okay, well, his haircut, of course, but he looks like he's wearing like a raincoat. Yep. Is that a raincoat?
He's wearing a raincoat. He's got a different haircut than everyone else. He's wearing contemporary modern clothing that no one else there is wearing. He's wearing a in the middle of, and it's not raining out.
No.
And it's not cold out. People have very light things on, if you could see them.
Oh, yeah. They're just like their regular jackets or sweaters.
He stands out like a sore thumb, this guy.
He does.
And I think one of the things that's making me suspect it is the fact that the raincoat is the giveaway for me, really.
Oh, absolutely. And they put that guy in there.
You can, I guess, if you want, you can make a case for the haircut, maybe,
Mm,
but it still looks different than everybody
it
else's. But
does. And
the
maybe they
giveaway is
planted
the
that other
raincoat.
guy.
Everybody else is wearing lighter clothes,
Oh, yeah.
and this guy's got a heavy raincoat on. But here's the thing. Where's your hat? Where's your umbrella? If you're expecting rain, you're obviously wearing a raincoat.
Absolutely.
All right, now let me tell you about this guy. His name's Andrew Carlson. He claims to be, again, a time traveler from the future. All right. When they went to talk to him, the New York City Police Department went to talk to him, right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, this happens. Time traveler skips town. Self-proclaimed time traveler Andrew Carlson, the enigmatic Wall Street wizard, jailed on insider trading, vanishes without a trace. But here's the thing. He didn't just skip town. He's vanished from a locked jail cell.
Wow.
Okay? How do you escape a jail cell with 4 guards watching you because they know that you made a fortune for people? This guy was some kind of financial wizard. He says from the future.
Right. So
He
would have
said he
been.
had the ability to make everyone rich. Okay. Well, the cops, when you say that, the cops want to know, okay, well, let's see. Who are you there, buddy boy? They
Right.
want to find out.
And when he was just jailed, I know that they take everything from you. Maybe he hid something somewhere that maybe opened up his portal. Maybe he had a portal.
Well, and that's the thing. Here's the question I have. Does the portal travel with you, or can you summon the portal?
You probably have to have a device for the portal. Probably.
I don't believe that.
Mhm.
I believe the portal can be summoned to be opened. I believe that. I believe that a portal can be opened based on you summoning it.
If you set like a time from like the future and say open the portal at so and so time.
No, I don't even mean that. No, I mean, I think it can be summoned at will.
Oh, wow.
I believe that. And I think I can prove it. And I think the proof is pretty well all around us. It's the Matrix.
Yes.
It's the Mandela effect. It is, in fact, the wormhole. The wormholes exist all around us. We just have to be aware of where they are.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that we can summon them to open. And I think that's the key, to summon the wormhole to open at will. Anyway, so there you go, folks. That's our show tonight.
That could be it. That's
show.
a wonderful. Yeah.
Good show tonight.
Wonderful show. Yes.
It was nice to see Andrew and Mac Dub tonight. Great to see them guys. Stay on your own side of the fence and leave us the hell alone. Or you will get a cease and desist order. Pricks. Anyway. And it's going to say, leave me the fuck alone, and you're banned for life. Okay.
Yes.
We'll find a way to do that. Anyway. Amelia, what we got coming up?
Well, actually, tomorrow you have an exciting brand new show that you are having introducing to the bullshit, right? That's bullshit. It's called.
Yes, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Yep. Let me tell everybody about this.
I call him Rick Suave, so that's me. But his name is
hot. Then here it is. Let me show everybody what this is here. We're going to do a new show tomorrow night. Check this out. There you go. That's bullshit with Rico and Stretch. They're coming in tomorrow night. We'll be with them for a little while, hanging out and see what kind of trouble we can get in with them.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And I want to remind everyone that next week The author, here he is, the author of the brand new book, The Real Jerry Lewis Story, Rick Sapphire, will be joining us to talk what's the word I'm looking for? Unadulterated terms.
There you go.
His relationship with Jerry Lewis. To join us on that conversation will be Eugene from Greece and the Bradley kid from the Polar Express. Eddie Deason is an actor. He's been around a long time. He's been in a ton of movies.
Oh, yes.
So Amelia's a fangirl, so she's going to be hard to control that night. So
I will be on my best behavior.
You better be. I'll kick your ass the hell out of here. Let me see who else is here. CM Gonzo. Great show. Thank you. I don't know who CM is. Who's CM?
Thank you for joining our show. If this is your first time, please check us out on on our What's the Buzz page. It's a WWTF.
I want to know
on
who
the record.
CM Gonzo is. I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Gonzo, I'm going to hang out in a couple minutes for you. Where you from, kid? Your first time here. You know what? You came in at the end of the show. We start at 7.
Right.
We're getting ready to go home now. But listen, join us. Come back and say hi to us, okay?
Absolutely.
On behalf of Amelia the Pitbull Chapman, I am the Mad Dog, Angelo DeCipio. If you or anyone you know needs help with drug addiction, drug counseling, has a cocaine problem, any young folks that have run away from home, or even adults for that matter that have run away from home, we have a number of help numbers for you here. Take a look at these. We will see you tomorrow night, God willing, and the creek don't rise. And again, for the Mad Dog and the Pitbull. Yeah. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Bye-bye.